everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, September 20th, y'all. And we are back for another shot of vitamin K. If this is the first time you are tuning in, I'm Kishshana Palmer. Y'all gonna see me look down a little bit because my phone is here. For my friends who are on Instagram, shout out to my crew who watches on Instagram. And then if you are on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, then you'll be able to watch me here and watch my replays, which I love how y'all give me all the comments in my DMs in the replays. It's the best. I'm always like, what did I say again at minute 11? But I am excited to see another week and excited to be back here with y'all. Look, y'all, today I got on some sparkle, okay? I got on some sparkle, y'all, because I'm getting on the road, okay? And so I had to kind of get my juices up. I'm going to have on sparkle all week. I picked out my clothes. I am excited and ready for the next few days. Ooh, I see comments coming in already. Let me see who's hanging out with me in the chat. Hey, my producer extraordinaire for Let's Take This Offline. We've been on a hiatus, y'all, but we coming back. So let me just finish this retreat, and then we're going to launch again, okay? But I am so excited to have y'all in the house. Listen, so today's conversation, and I just want y'all to be live in the chat because I feel like this is one of the conversations that folks are going to be like, ooh, she done said it now. And I actually write out what I'm going to talk about for the month, a month ahead. And what I try to do is allow myself to also have space for like what happens in the news, if things are happening in pop culture. And in pop culture, over the last couple of weeks, we've been inundated with the Queen's death and all of the stuff that comes with colonialization and all of the conversations and feelings. And I was talking to my mom about this because, I am first-gen American. My parents are Jamaican. And I asked her, like, when Queen Elizabeth first passed, like, how she felt, and she was like, I don't know. Like she just had like but I know that there are other people's parents who I was talking to who had real feelings about how they experienced the monarchy during their time. And I think Sanai gave me a fun fact. The Queen Asia gave me a fun fact that was like only 15 countries, I think, have not been invaded by Great Britain over the course of history and time. Isn't that crazy, y'all? Y'all about to see Chanel run out, y'all. There you go. 5, 4, 3. This is why I have to get dressed every day because the dog is really hell-bent on seeing what's outside. Hold on, y'all. And she's going to come back and reopen the door. So don't mind me. Look, y'all, I got sparkles on the tie too, okay? And I get teased all the time because I get dressed every single day, y'all. Even though I work from home, most of the time when I'm out on the road and I'm here by myself in my office, I still get dressed. I get dressed for me. Somebody said my parents cussed. Listen, there was all type of cussing and stuff going on. And if we had time today, we would get into that. But today, what I want to talk about, I see somebody said I get dressed too. Shout out to everybody who gets dressed. Who all gets dressed now? You're like, I'm feeling good. I don't have any makeup today though, y'all. I don't know how y'all feeling about my skin. I think my skin is looking all right. I think the light's a little low on Instagram, but I feel like I'm doing okay in the world. So here's what I wanted to talk about on today's shot of vitamin K. Y'all, last week I talked about quiet quitting and quiet firing and how what we are experiencing in the world as boundaries has been marketed, repackaged for the campaign of quiet quitting. But what I didn't get into in great detail was quiet firing. And that is, I was correct. 15 countries didn't see British rule. Good. Y'all, why is the chat going heavy? My child wants her best friend to come with me to run errands this afternoon because she got her permit and is gunning to get her license and her birthday this year. And so the child is on me all the time. Okay. Pray for me. So when I kind of dug into the quiet quitting part last week, I really talked about the reasons that we are experiencing folks exercise real boundaries around work. And I think there have been many, many articles written about, how the pandemic has really reasserted the way we look at work and the way our employees look at their work and work-life balance. And I think that we used to say work-life balance before, y'all, and kind of like giggle, right? Work-life. But now people are really pushing to be able to have a balance in their work. Even me. I have 1,245 things to do before I get on the road. before I do my keynote tomorrow for Montana Nonprofit Association. Then I got to go to New Mexico for another conference for the Association of Donor Relations Professionals. Then I'm on the road for the New Hampshire Leadership Summit. I mean, like, y'all, then I'm going to Jamaica for the Rudy Collaborative. Then I'm back and I'm going to Houston. I mean, like, it's a lot. Where is a sis gonna rest? Let me tell you how. I have been grabbing moments of just quiet and respite for myself. I don't know about y'all, but my playlist game is serious. And so I've had to really turn up the volume on what I'm listening to, on what I'm watching. I find myself watching more fantasy. So right now I'm real heavy into rewatching Game of Thrones, y'all, while I watch House of the Dragons. Who all is into this right now? Because it is every single thing. And I'm finding that having little moments of escape are allowing me to be able to check out, like really check out, because my brain is focused on that thing. And then when I come back in, I'm refreshed. Same with my music, to really get into stuff that I can sing and I can relax myself. Yes, I see it in the chat. Yes, get into that. Like being able to have these micro moments of respite. I think a lot of times, we sort of center on the things that we all know. So massage and spa and vacation and travel. And y'all, I was even using travel for an escape. It wasn't really like to rest. I don't know the last time I actually went somewhere and sat my butt down. I was laying and my body was buzzing when I was in Jamaica doing site visits for the Rudy Collaborative's Rudy Retreat next week. And I brought the Queen Age and her best friend with me. And y'all, I mean, buzzing. Okay, there a whole week. And I was like, what do I need to do? And so being a buzzy bee has given me some time to think. And it allowed me to peruse some articles and some blog posts, and folks are writing and thinking things. And I'm seeing some disturbing trends reemerge in the nonprofit sector and in other sectors. But as many of y'all know who follow my work, you know that the majority of my work is for the social sector, followed by tech. And then y'all by cannabis. They coming up behind me, the cannabis companies. They're like, Kish, come talk to us. So the thing that I've been seeing, so number one, I have seen the return to the fallen snow, the long winter, the whiteness of snow, of leadership teams, of searches, of executive staffing, staffing up of executive teams, of folks of color leaving, of all kinds, leaving in droves, saying, F this whole thing, I'm going to go start my own stuff. Then on the education side, I have been seeing a return, and I'm talking about like a mighty rushing wind of a return to conferences and summits and lineups that are lily white. And I really thought in the year of our Lord 2022 that we had come to a group understanding that we were not going to be with the flim anymore. Have we not? Do you not remember Twittergate of 2017 when all the nonprofit consultants went berserk and was choosing all types of camps because somebody had the nerve to call out the fact that conferences were all white and male? Have we not learned our lessons? And my good friend and colleague, Jess Campbell, wrote from Out in the Booms, wrote a post yesterday lambasting colleagues, her fellow white colleagues, right? I don't know if y'all noticed, but I'm Black, about the fact that every conference lineup we're seeing right now in late 2022 and going into 2023 is white snow. Well, there's a token person here and a token this here and a little chocolate chip there, like that. But that is what we were doing before. So how is it now that conference planners, for example, have gotten amnesia about where to get really amazing speakers that don't look like them? I mean, how many more lists do we have to create? Okay. Like, seriously, like my friend Dana from Positive Equation has a list. She updates the list. She's not the only list. There's a list upon list. There's a list to the list. There's a spreadsheet and a Slack channel. Like, what else do we have to do? The smoke signals? Like, we're at the point now where this idea that we can't find folks is just pure play foolishness. And I would like us to have an honest conversation that we just don't give a damn, that we don't try, that we're not interested, that it actually doesn't matter. And what matters is the perception people have when the heat is on in the kitchen. And so since we have gone back to the crock pot of our social sector lives, we're not interested in ensuring that we don't get burned. And that's the thing that I think is so wild. The number of companies that wrote these long, flowery statements about how they have a commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, to justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. Find an acronym, any acronym. Everybody want an acronym. Hiring all these DEIB professionals of varying degrees of expertise, experience, and skill, and not giving folks a budget, putting folk of color, and particularly Black women, in positions of power, leading nonprofit organizations that are in the middle of crisis, that don't have any money, that their previous executive director or CEO ran the damn thing into the ground. But now we're supposed to come and pick up the pieces to fix without the resources. And if it doesn't work fast enough, if we can't helicopter in with our cape fast enough, then we're a failure as opposed to being handed a hot damn mess. We are in a pickle. We're in a sticky situation, my friends. And I'm seeing this in every aspect of our sector. I'm seeing it in our hiring. We don't even have to go down the rabbit hole, y'all, that there are thousands and thousands of vacant nonprofit leadership roles in development, in operations, in the creative vein, whether that is marketing, creative in terms of graphic design, all of it, IT, finance. People are outsourcing all over the place, and their team members who are left don't know their left from their right. We're not giving folks any resources to develop their people. And let me not talk bad about the folks who've gotten the magical McKinsey Scott money. What are we doing for sustainability and for ensuring that the folks we put in the line of fire actually have bullets to shoot the gun? Hold on, I'm looking on Instagram because we got some comments coming in. Talk to me. I don't think everyone was interested in change as much as they were interested in not being publicly judged. Hello. It doesn't mean there was an actual cultural change to support this new diverse staff. Absolutely. And I'm seeing that time and time again. My business was not built to be a DEI practitioner. I wasn't built to be a DEI practitioner. That's not what I woke up in 2014 when I decided, you know what? I'm going to actually do this thing. And in 2016, when I said, you know what? This thing might be my only thing. I didn't wake up to do this work. I had to learn how to do this work well from versed and experienced practitioners and working alongside them before I stepped out on my own, because I realized if you don't understand the pedagogy to be able to pick a lane of philosophy about how you think about liberation, leadership, justice, dismantling systems. We weren't talking about dismantling systems in our general lexicon pre-pandemic, y'all. We were not. And I really think that the implementation, that's right, Mama J, my partner in crime over there, that where's the implementation? It's time to model and embody these statements, or just say to hell with it. I just think that the challenge that I'm seeing is that we are, folk like who look like me are in a couple of camps. Either water is wet, which is what I said yesterday. We just gonna go on and mind our business and drink our water. Because what is the point? Folk are gonna do what they're gonna do, and this has been tales over time. Then we got folks who are like, oh no, I'm sick of this. So we're gonna burn it all down. We're gonna figure it out. I would like us to burn things down and also have the timber to rebuild. Okay. And then there are folks who are like, what? Huh? Something's going on? Wait a minute. Because you're benefiting from the system that is designed to keep you in your place, because tokenism is real. And you know how I know tokenism is real, y'all? Because I was a then proud recipient of tokenism. And why do I say proud? Because when it wasn't popular to be outspoken Black woman and speaker, I was colorful, and Kishshana has a fresh voice. Did I? Because I feel like if I go into the into the history books. There's a lot of women who look like me who were having similar conversations. Maybe for me, it was timing, but I definitely for a very long time was the only one at the table, which is why I can speak to the only one at the table on the hiring side, the only one at the table on the speaker side, the only one at the table getting bids. So we have a challenge. I am seeing Black and brown businesses in our sector who are serving our sector floundering unless they're willing to take the fast money and go. If you're really trying to build a business in the practice of integrity, and you are trying to ensure that there's actually systemic change, listen, you might as well hang it up, because folk are just starting new businesses and moving forward and don't even have any grist behind what they are selling. But if you put lipstick on a pig, it still ain't cute. Kishshana, y'all like Kishshana, what you talking about? Let me be clear. If I, in my current business, was a white woman doing the exact same work that I was doing, I promise y'all I would have a staff of 20. I promise y'all I would be a multi-million-dollar company right now. But I know, you know how I know? Because people talk to me offline, because back channels are real. That because of who I am and how I identify and how I show up in the world, I got to come with extra decks and extra calls. I get Heisman because you had this money set aside for me in December, but in March, when we finally got on the phone, you need a deck. And then in April, you replied to the deck that you ran out of money in February. I need people to stop with the monkey monks and the foolishness, because this is becoming glaringly obvious that organizations who have claimed that they want to have more equitable practices in their organizations among their team members, their leadership, etc., are just talking. That companies, I'm talking about everything from recruitment firms to tech companies to service providers of all kinds, who talk about being more equitable and wanting to make sure that there's more equity in the practices they have staffs that are lily white. Or if you have folk of color, they are in the lowest ranks of your companies or organizations. I want us to be honest about the fact that 2020 was the year that we also thought the world was going to blow up. Let's be clear. Everybody thought they was going to die. This is the end. And so folks acted like it. And now people are tired. Companies are tired of getting sign on to this pledge. Why? Because they don't want to sign on to a darn thing. They want to just go back to what they were doing before, making money for their shareholders. Be clear. So when you see more and more practitioners who are on the consulting side speak up, we do this at often cost to our businesses, to our bottom lines, and to ourselves. We don't get to hide behind an organization or move into another organization. We don't get that, right? And folks who are in organizations who are wanting to speak up find that they get shut down, blackballed, blocked out, if they actually have real conversations about what's happening around inequity in the organization. So how can we move the needle? First of all, let me look into the chat and make sure people, look, Mama Jason, that too, tell us the truth that is no longer priority. Come on now and talk about it. So here's what I want us to be thinking about today. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about this? In terms of addressing the fact that we have gone back to pre-pandemic business as usual. If you are a white leader, if you are a middle-level professional, if you are a consultant, if you have power of influence, you have to speak up. And by speak up, I do not mean DM me, send me an email, or write on the side how you empathize and you support me. I mean, you have to get loud. Hey, friend. That's right, Jess. That's why it's critical for white women to speak up loud. You have to get loud. And you actually have to expend some of your social capital. And guess what? If you haven't heard me say this before, you're going to hear me say it again. You get yours back. I may not. Somebody would be like, oh, she was having a time. Ooh, that time that she would. I've only seen a couple of my white colleagues and now women who I consider to be friends who went so far out on the ledge, rightfully, that it would cause some temporary damage to their careers. Temporary. They bounce back. Okay? I do not see that with women who look like me. So we either need to be radical, which is subjective, or we need to be silent. So step one, I'm going to need my white peers across the sector, and especially folks who identify as women and queer folk who know that they are in positions of power because they are proximate to white male power, to speak up and speak out, to say no to stuff unless somebody else comes along, to demand that other women are in the room. And if you cannot name off the top of your head 5 to 6 women who look like me, who do different things, then baby, you need to go back to the lab and get you some new friends. Get you some business. Because if I'm the only person you know, or if this KT is the only person you know, if Tania is the only person you know, if Anika is the only person you know, and you can't call nobody else, you wandering around, then let me tell you what, you don't have enough friends that don't look like you. And so in order for us to be able to push against the inequities that we are seeing, we have to be willing to stand in line. And so y'all got to act as soldiers. We need to be in the back. Literally, this is the only time I want to be in the back, child. The second thing is that folks who are in positions of power, and power for me right now in this moment is talking about cash, money. Stop nickel and diming folks who are out here trying to do really good work. Stop being lazy with your strategy, air quotes, and using your leftover marketing dollars so you can say so you don't get fined. Be intentional, either by hiring folks who actually know how to build community properly and give them the money to do so and have the experience to do so, or just say you ain't into it and stop pretending. Stop making these fake webinars and fake panels and fake get-togethers and be on my podcast. Like, just quit. Because then we be like, all right, they're over there, they're not with it. When I was in college, I went to a very, very, very ritzy PWI up in New England. And when I was in college and you were, at that time we called it Alana students, but if you were an Alana student, particularly a Black student, when you started as a freshman, y'all, you had to pick a lane. This is the year of our Lord, 1997. So now we like to step light and say we don't do that. But then it was blatant. You better pick a lane. Those folks who identified as Black folk over here. Those folk who couldn't figure it out quite yet over there. And it was a very clear, I'm not saying it was right, y'all, but that was prevalent. And that I'm using that example because it needs to be very clear what team you playing on. And what I'm tired of and what I'm seeing as an overarching trend are folks who are trying to have a Swedish experience. Shout out to the Swedes, but not for this. We don't need a middle of the road experience, right? We need folks who are going to be able to rightfully and righteously call out the things that are not going right at every turn, and not just +1 me in the comments, but also start your own stuff too, and be willing to put your money where your mouth is. Hire the creatives, for example, who are solo practitioners and freelancers, and stop treating them like the help. Stop going to these big firms and stuff who got 97,245 people. You know their work is crap and they charging you $1 million a month. Don't nickel and dime folks who are in smaller organizations around the kind of resources you're going to invest in them. Like, be clear about how you're going about your work. And if you need strategy help, call an actual strategist. I am one of many. I can come to the table with a good dozen off the top of my head right now, who will be happy to help you shape organizational culture, team strategy, community strategy, organizational change. Okay? Like, what you need. Because the talent is there. So the last thing I'll say before I get off, because I feel like maybe today was my rant, and normally I teach y'all a thing, but I I hope that what I'm naming are a couple things. One, that regardless of where we sit in the business of this sector, amplifying, activating, and elevating mission, that we realize that we have a responsibility, not just to the missions that we are passionate about, but to the people who are in service of those missions. And it's not just yourself. And if part of our work in philanthropy is about justice and about tightening the safety net that we are charged with wherever you are in the world, then you have to make sure that you are not a play actor on the team of folks who are ignoring your fellow humans who are marginalized, ignored, smudged in favor of the expediency of time, or I couldn't find it, or I didn't know where to look, or only my friends were. Stop being lazy. And if you don't know how to do it, hire a strategist who knows how. I am not the only one, but y'all can hire my firm. I do have a crew. Get clear or get out. That's basically it for today. I hope that this gets shared. I hope folks are like, oh, shoot, Kishshana said some things. I am so excited to continue to have these types of conversations. I told y'all in a post a few months back that I was about to bring it. I need to get on the other side of this retreat. The Rooted Retreat is 1 week away. If you are like Kishshana, I'm going to need some help figuring out the strategy situation. I'm going to need some help. I need you to go to kishco.info/VIP strategy. It's that easy. If you're like, I don't even know where to start, I just need to dig in and be a thought partner, it's not going to be free, but it will be good. And so don't be afraid to book some time to get on with me so we can talk about how to do this thing differently. If you are in need of an opportunity to step back so you can step forward, it's too late to come with us in person, but it's not too late for you to take some time to join us virtually for the Rooted Retreat. And just go to therootedretreat.com. You can join us virtually. The content is fire. All of our speakers finished recording yesterday. It is so good, y'all. And we have some surprises up our sleeve, as I always do. And that is happening next week, the 29th of September through October 2nd. So it's too late to join us in person, but you can join us virtually. Folks are still giving, so I can get some scholarships out virtually. So if that's something that you're needing because you're in a financial situation where you need some support with that, please reach out to us at hi@therootedcollaborative.com. But the Rooted Retreat is happening. And y'all, this has been another awesome episode of A Shot of Vitamin K. I want to thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this week. I want to thank y'all for talking to me like, what the heck is happening in this sector? Like, what is going on? Are we back to business as usual? I want to know your comments on what you think business as usual is and what we need to be doing about it so I can talk about it. And if there are topics you want me to share or you want me to get on and talk about live, don't be afraid to drop it in the chat. And I will be putting that into my planning, into my content planning over the next couple of months. I want to thank my friends on Instagram for watching live. I want to thank everybody else for watching. And this has been another shot of Vitamin K. I will see y'all next week. Woo! Next week is going to be tough because I'm on the road. It might have to be live on the go, y'all. I'm not going to lie to you. But I will see y'all soon for another shot of Vitamin K. I believe working from home is cool, but it can get lonely. Even if you're in the office a few times a week, your calendar's probably still full of Zoom meetings, conference call, and other endless screen things. What if I told you there's a premier experience that allows you to reconnect while you disconnect? Join us in sunny Jamaica for the 2022 Rooted Retreat for an all-inclusive experience where professional development and high-end luxury come together in perfect harmony. Stress doesn't deserve your best, you do. Treat yourself to the best at this year's Rooted Retreat, presented by the Rooted Collaborative.